campaign? Nazi propaganda. We want blonde hair, blue-eye babies propaganda.
Kids are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
My genes are superior, and by that, I mean white, with blonde hair. Don't check my roots. MAGA stands for my ass looks great, an American Eagle.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
What does this American Eagle Sydney Sweeney Jeans campaign have to do with not just race, the current political climate?
You saw the new Sydney Sweeney campaign, you were probably wondering why. Why would a brand whose core audience is Gen Z, who cares so much about body positivity and inclusivity, run this? Because it's not about Gen Z. Apparently, American Eagle isn't selling jeans. They're selling stocks to middle-aged men. This campaign is nearly identical to the Calvin Klein ad that Brooke Shields did when she was 15, which was iconic but extremely controversial and very deeply impacted Brooke's life.
Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. Occasionally, certain conditions produce a structural change in the gene, which will bring about the process of evolution. This may occur in one or more of the following ways. Firstly, by selective mating, in which a single gene type proves superior in transmitting its genes to future generations. Secondly, by gene drift, in which certain genes may fade away while other genes persist.
So yeah, AE's stock price is up, but scroll through any of their comments on social and you can see the sentiment is brutal.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring. My genes are blue.
This diabolical copy in this political climate. Let's talk about that American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad and eugenicist dog whistles. We can't keep pretending that media and marketing exist in a vacuum. That ad doesn't exist without the culture it's selling into. This is American Eagle's most expensive ad to date, meaning that nothing in this ad was accidental. And there was a decision made about what cultural cues they wanted to sell to in this ad. I want to break down two specific ads in this campaign.
My body's composition is determined by my genes.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
This whole ad relies on the double entendre of genes and genes. It's more than a cheeky wordplay, it's a dog whistle. We are seeing the rise of fascism in America. And with this comes this rise of eugenics. To put it simply, eugenics is the belief that some people have better genes than others. I'll let you guess what people fall into which categories. In eugenicist thinking, society encourages certain people to reproduce, while discouraging others, and in some cases, even preventing others through forced sterilization. In this ad, by saying my body's composition is determined by my genes, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, it's saying that Sydney Sweeney has a great body, and therefore great genes, and therefore is a product of genetic superiority. Specifically saying these white, thin, traditionally feminine bodies are not just aspirational, but symbols of morality, tradition, purity. I think the next ad takes it even further.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
My genes are blue is crazy work. Once again, it's the double entendre of blue jeans, meaning like the physical denim, and her blue eyes. It's echoing the language of white purity politics, and the purity of blonde hair and blue eyes. Historic fascist regimes have weaponized the feminine ideal. Femininity linked to motherhood, reproduction, fertility, beauty. Women deemed desirable by the state are seen as carriers of racial and cultural purity. Sydney Sweeney's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, thin, voluptuous, and all the right places body is being presented as a lineage of genes worthy of reproduction. And it positions her within this larger trend of white femininity being used to justify regressive politics. Even if you want to say it's a reach, it's not. This language has cultural context. And by making an emphasis on Sydney Sweeney's genes with a G, saying that Sydney Sweeney is not just beautiful, but her blue genes are worthy of replication. No, I really don't think this is an accident. We're seeing a rise of anti-woke consumer branding. This campaign was engineered to resonate with a very specific audience. Conservative coded branding is selling right now. And even American Eagle, which was kind of like one of the big brands in the body positivity movement, it's not selling anymore. Done. It's about market alignment, and unfortunately, their stock soared, really, after this launch. And I know you might be tempted to say it's not that deep, but I beg you to push back on that line of thinking, because this is how ideology spreads. It's not that deep until it's too late.
Sydney Sweeney
German descent. It's an American staple, and by that, I mean the white part.
American Eagle for eugenics. I get that it's a double entendre. We're talking about eugenics. Maybe I'm just walking crazy, right? But also maybe I'm not, because they left all other posts of her up, and for some reason they took that video down. Both left. Before I step aside, know that this is a right-wing rag. Causes a wild jump in struggling retailer stock price. Their stock had a 24% spike. People are gonna put this on like, oh, it's just men being men and growth, but no, this is white people being white people. This is American people and Sydney Sweeney being white supremacists. Let's talk about that. We can talk about it. You're gonna see things like this more and more often. You're gonna see things like white supremacy in advertising, in film. You'll start to see that Homelander is more prevalent than Superman, and as a hero, not as just an individual. You're gonna start to see little cultural shifts and things like that. But some of them are gonna be super blatant.
Sydney Sweeney is not a girl's girl. She's the girl that in interviews has talked about how other girls are jealous of her and how it's hard being so pretty, which is why her American Eagle ad is causing so much controversy. Watch this clip, then we'll talk about it.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that?
Sydney's entire career has been based on her being sexualized. She is completely marketed for men, not women. Yes, women think she's beautiful because she is. But we also know she's not a girl's girl. She puts off the vibes of a pygmy girl. The girl who's gonna hit on your man the second you walk out of the room. And of course, I have a whole theory about how this whole relationship was fake. How she needed to look more relatable and he needed to catapult to superstardom, and so, match made in heaven. I sound like a Sydney hater, and I'm truly not. I'm just saying, if you're gonna pick someone to be an American Eagle girl, you picked the wrong girl. And the ads you made reflect that. Because every American Eagle ad that I've seen with her in it was made for men. And they don't buy women's jeans. Often.
I saw this video of this blue-eyed, blonde-hair white lady being like, I don't get what the problem is with the Sydney Sweeney commercial. Like, so it's a problem when white people try to say that the superior gene is blonde hair and blue eyes. She doesn't say it exactly like that, but basically describes exactly why it's a problem, and she goes, I just don't get it. And then a bunch of other idiots get in her comments, they're like, you're not missing anything, you just have common sense. Oh my god, it stinks in here. You guys are so freaking confidently dumb. I cannot even put it into words. Do we have no historical literacy? Ever heard of the last time people tried to do this? Ever heard of the last time that people tried to say that blonde hair and blue eyes were the superior genes? And, like, how does that not read to you? How is that not translating to you? How stupid do you have to be? I literally can't imagine being so stupid. And one person in the comments was like, we could explain it to you so many times, but you're never going to get it for a few different reasons. Like, first of all, you're so stupid, and second of all, you don't want to get it because you're a white supremacist. Like, you just got on the internet and said loudly that you're a white supremacist. That's what the video was. And in the comments, it's all a bunch of other white supremacists proudly proclaiming that they're white supremacists, and they don't even know it. They don't even realize it. I genuinely can't imagine being so stupid. If I ever had to take so stupid and also just, like, horrible, I would literally never post on the internet again. I would delete my social footprint and go into hiding, genuinely.
What does this American Eagle Sydney Sweeney jeans campaign have to do with not just race, but soap and the current political climate? I'm Sayantani, an author of middle grade and YA books, which I mostly talk about on this app, but I am also a professor of something called narrative medicine. So I teach a lot about race, health, and narrative. And that is exactly why this ad is in my particular wheelhouse and why I will be putting it on my syllabus in the fall. So now, as many wonderful creators on this app have pointed out, this Sydney Sweeney ad is really imbued with eugenic messaging. Now, what is eugenics? If you don't know, I would highly recommend watching the Eugenics Crusade from PBS, which I have on my syllabi almost every year. But in short, it is the both pseudoscientific and immoral notion that we can improve the human race. We can help natural selection along by certain pseudoscientific practices, one of which is positive eugenics, so the encouraging of reproduction among people who possess certain positive or desirable characteristics, and negative eugenics, which is the discouraging of reproduction or even the killing off of people with certain negative traits. Now, the question, of course, the moral question, of course, becomes who gets to decide whose traits are positive and whose traits are negative. Now, while we often talk about eugenics in the scope of race, I think it's really important to remember that eugenics is as much kind of a racialized, or it leans into as much racialized ideas of superiority as it does into ideas of ableism or kind of cis heteronormativity. Mental health, what was deemed criminal, is all also on this pile of undesirable traits. So if you want to know more about how positive eugenics happens, you need look no further than fitter families contests in this country in the 20s and 30s and even 40s, I think, where people were encouraged to bring their very white, able-bodied families, and at the same time, at a fair that you could, let's say, show off your giant pumpkin or your prize-winning pig, you could show off and get an award for your fit family. And in terms of negative eugenics, of course, the most prime example we have is World War II, where the people who did those things in World War II didn't come up with those ideas. They were inspired by American and British eugenicists. But in addition to kind of the killing off of undesirable peoples, we have seen throughout history and continuing to the present day the forced sterilization, kind of the decrease of reproduction among undesirable communities. So we, not only in the American South, we know Fannie Lou Hamer talks about the Mississippi appendectomy, right, where women of color were forcibly sterilized. We see that practice going on in incarcerated and perhaps in immigrant detention populations, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Okay, so what does all of this have to do with the American Eagle ad? Jean Kilbourne, who is a scholar of gender in advertising, tells us that ads just don't sell us products. They sell us notions of love, normalcy, sexuality, what families are supposed to look like, what bodies are supposed to look like. And so, it won't take anyone by surprise that in this ad where the barely hidden juxtaposition is made between genes, the things we put on our bodies, and genes, G-E-N-E-S, the genetic structure of our bodies, those two ideas are conflated, that the actress hired for this ad, Sydney Sweeney, is not just blonde and blue-eyed, but makes a point of being blonde and blue-eyed, which she talks about in the ad parents passing on traits like eye color, hair color. And a woman of color would not have been hired for this advertisement. That is a purposeful act. Why? Because eugenics is deeply tied to the pseudoscientific ideas of racialized superiority. The notion that some races are better than others, and we can prove this biologically and or genetically. This is, of course, complete nonsense. We are more alike genetically than we are unalike. But yet, Sydney Sweeney's ad is really speaking to this political moment. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is also the same person who was involved in a kind of soap collaboration, making soap out of her bathwater, which I'm not even going to get into the ew of that. But remember, soap has historically been a really fraught, racialized product because of the ways that darker-skinned people are associated with race, pollution, all of those negative things, whereas whiteness is associated with cleanliness. All you have to do is Google racist soap ads to find a bunch of ads like this, which I often teach from. This Pears ad, which suggests that, to be darker skinned is to be impure, to be uncleaned, and by using this product, you can miraculously become lighter skinned, clean. If you think this is merely a historical idea, Dove recently had to advertise for this debacle, where a darker skinned woman took off this t-shirt, dark t-shirt. By virtue of using Dove, she became clean, cleansed, white. So all of these ideas are also deeply connected to this political moment.
Are you out of your mind? What do you mean that
in this video we are talking about the new Eagle American ad, which is causing an uproar across America right now. Sweeney was in this advert where she's advertising her jeans, but actually if you read the advertising itself, it's literally selling, you know, white supremacy. It's saying, you know, having blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, skinny, you know, parents passing certain traits to their children, like the way Sweeney is looking in this advertisement. You know, it's clean, and then of course she's wearing 100% cotton jeans, unlike the other type of jeans which needs to be banned. So if you look at this advertisement itself, it literally, if you read between the lines, it has racial undertones. And of course, right now with the way things are in America, we are seeing, you know, we're having an administration that literally portray, or should I say, focus in you know, in pushing forward the white supremacy thing in America right now, in terms of, you know, saying, you know, we want to make America great again, we want America, you know, to be white. And right now they're also doing a lot of mass deportation of people of other races. So it's very controversial, and people right now they're talking about it as a result of that. That is the background. So, you know, when it comes to the advertisement, when it comes to the advertisement, you're usually selling a product or a services, yeah, and usually you sell emotions. So their target market, of course, is not people of other colors apart from the white. That's basically what they're saying, because the model, who she's called Sweeney, Sydney, she has blonde hair, blue eyes, slim, white, you know, and of course the way they're focusing, they're emphasizing on the genes, and of course the genes, the type of genetics she has, you know, all that, it portrays, you know, the kind of target market they're looking for. So was this advertisement popular? Yeah, it has become popular across America, because at the end of the day, people are talking about it. Whether it's negative or positive, at the end of the day, people are talking about it. So of course, if people are talking about it, then the company, people are going to talk about the company. So when it comes to advertisement, or should I say, when it comes to publicity, there's never a bad publicity, as long as it's publicity. So if the aim was basically to make people in America talk about it, yes. Is the company talking about it? Yes. Are the stock market shares are going up? Yes. Is there negativity out of it? Yes. But only time will tell whether this advertisement, is it going to help this the company to sell more jeans or not. Because at the end of the day, if their target market was basically the white people, so there are some white people, of course, they're going to buy it, and then of course there are some white people who are going to reject, because they don't associate themselves with the racism. And then at the end of the day, it's all about preferences, and of course the affordability of the product, and of course whether someone can afford it, you know, all that, it plays a role. So let me know what you think about this video. Drop your comments and subscribe to my channel.